All right. Hello, everybody, and welcome. It is Tuesday, September 11th for today's live video. We still got to come up with a name for this. I need a council to submit some names and then have a democratic vote for it. I feel like it needs to be called more than just, oh, here's another Facebook Live. Anyways, a couple quick updates before we jump in. Starting September 12th, tomorrow is International Sunrise Sunset Around the World Day. For those of you watching in Europe, for those of you watching in Australia, Asia, it may be September 12th for you already and getting near or just past sunrise time. So start submitting your photos. If you're going to participate, this is a wonderful event. This was the 6th time we've hosted this event. And the idea is to take a photo of a sunrise or sunset wherever you are in the world in honor of a loved one you've lost, and then make a donation to an organization that they would be meaningful to them, that they'd be passionate about. If you want to do it to the ongoing community effort that we have going towards Reach Out Worldwide, there's a link to do so on the event page. Please submit your photos to my Facebook page, which is just Jesse Brisendine Coaching. And then what I will do is I will download all those photos, put them in an album, and then I will pick a handful of them to make our annual video out of it. I see Joyce on here. Hey, Joyce, hello. Good to see you on here. Susan, Yvonne, Alexandra, Jackie, Sam, Jennifer. Great to see so many of you on here. Really short message I wanted to give with you all today about the idea of service. Since this is September 11th, and here in the U.S., this is a very day, well, and I think around the world, because so much of our lives changed on September 11th, whether you were in the U.S. or you were abroad. How we traveled through the airport system dramatically changed on that day worldwide. And there was a story I was reminded of today that I thought it might be a really good one to share, and you might find some inspiration, and you might find some inspiration from it. There's lots of stories from September 11th, and there's many inspiring stories, and unfortunately, so many of those inspiring stories end with tragedy, with the source of the story, the protagonist of the story inevitably perishing as they were trying to help others and trying to save more lives. I read quite a few of those stories the last few weeks. And there was one story, though, that I had been reminded of, and I recently read and watched again. And every time I do, I can't make it through it without getting tears in my eyes, because it's such a beautiful story of what's possible, in the sense of what's possible for all humankind if we choose. See, sometimes I think that to do great things, we may get hung up in the belief that we have to be special, we have to be a superstar. By special meaning, we have to be famous or rich or whatever it is. We may have to be an athlete. We may have to be a famous person, something like that, to do something special, something extraordinary. And nothing can be further from the truth. You think about throughout history, some of the most extraordinary acts and extraordinary feats that have ever been performed or accomplished, ones we celebrate today, were ones done by people who were once deemed ordinary or normal. But because of the act they did, they're remembered and celebrated today. On September 11th, after the first tower was hit, people began to run, people began to flee, people began to try to get as far away as they could from downtown Manhattan, where the World Trade Center was. And as many of them ran, they soon became faced with the harsh reminder that Manhattan is on an island. And once you start running away from the towers, you're surrounded by water. There's not a lot of options there. Prior to September 11th, the largest, I'm trying to remember how this is worded, the largest land-sea evacuation, or it was the largest evacuation of humans ever performed by boats, was from Dunkirk in World War II, where over 386,000, I believe, French and Allied soldiers were evacuated from Dunkirk by boats, sailboats, different kinds of ships and whatnot. That evacuation took over 9 days. There were some local bowlers nearby running the ferry and whatnot when 9/11 happened, and they saw all the people stranded, people screaming, begging for help, begging for their life. People were scared. Nobody knew what was happening. Nobody made sense. People were just trying to survive. The Coast Guard recognized this was happening, and they realized that the demand for what they could do was going to be greater than anyone could handle. They saw the magnitude of the situation quickly escalating and realized that hundreds of thousands of people's lives were in danger, and the Coast Guard themselves could not do it alone. The Coast Guard put out a signal and said effectively, any boat in the vicinity, any boat hearing this, any captain, any boat operator hearing this, if you can help, if you're willing to help, please come. We need you. When I hear that story, I have that image in my mind almost of the bat signal going up and cutting through the smoke and debris that was the towers burning and falling to the ground. Because if you look at videos from that time, there was so much smoke and so much debris surrounding the area that it was hard to see. There was clouds everywhere and visibility was next to nothing. And this is from somebody wasn't there, haven't had firsthand accounts from it, but a few people who were there, but just what I've seen in videos and what I was reading in this story. The Coast Guard sends out that message. And then from the shadows, literally from this shadow, this cloud that had been cast onto the water, you start to see one boat, you start to see another, you start to see another, and pretty soon there is dozens and dozens, and then hundreds of boats coming from all over the place, headed towards downtown Manhattan to try to evacuate these people. Sailboats, tourist boats, speed boats, little cruise boats, all sorts of things, pulling up and trying to get people off the island. It didn't matter what color, what creed, what somebody's race or religion or any of those types of things, whether they're Republican or Democrat, whether they worked on Wall Street or they worked down at the dock, if they were worth $1 million or they didn't even have $5 in their pocket. Everyone was a New Yorker. Everyone was a human. Everybody was trying to help one another. I was reading one story where it talked about how these 4 men in expensive business suits held up getting on the boat to help this lady who had some sort of, I want to say she had a sight disability. And they literally picked her up and passed them over their heads onto the boat, along with her seeing eye companion dog to help get her out of there. Prior to 9/11, the largest evacuation where boats were used to move people from one piece of land to another was over 386,000 for Dunkirk in World War II. That took 9 days. On September 11th, over 500,000 people were evacuated from Manhattan by boat over the course of 1 day. This would have never been possible if people hadn't heeded the call and come when there was help was needed. These boat operators, the captains, they weren't the most educated. Nobody really knew who they were. Most people still don't. I watched an interview with some of them, and each one of them was choked up by tears. I mean, I still get, it still moves me to the core when I even think about it, because these guys, they were so just touched by being able to be a part of that. And almost every single one of them says it was the greatest moment of their life, being a part of that, being there to help people, being a part of something that was greater than themselves, being there to save somebody's life, being able to help when help was needed. Instead of running away, they ran towards where the danger was. Sometimes in life, we find ourselves in situations in life where we may not feel like we have much to offer. We may feel like we may not have much to give. That's absolute bullshit. Each and every one of you on here have so much to offer to this world, to others, and have so much to give and so much to share. It doesn't take celebrity status or to be a great athlete or to be some famous person on social media or anything like that to do extraordinary things and to make an extraordinary impact in the life of another. All it takes is a willingness to do something when there's a need. All it takes is a willingness to serve from your heart. All it takes is a willingness to step up when the call for help is put out, or maybe even step up before the call of help is even needed. Not that anyone could have predicted that, but you know what I mean, in a smaller scale type of extreme. There might be something in your local community where there's a need. Going and volunteering and reading at a children's school, walking around and picking up trash in your town to keep the park looking beautiful, going to the senior citizens home and just visiting with some people who have no one to visit with. You have the ability to make a radical impact on someone's life. So don't ever let anyone tell you that you have nothing to give and that you're not worth something, because that couldn't be further from the truth. These people who did this extraordinary thing in 9/11, the largest evacuation in history, over 500,000 people in one day. Think about how many lives were likely saved because of that. These are just regular folks. Regular folks. Most of them make below probably regular wages, struggle to get by, bills to pay, all those types of things. None of that mattered. What mattered is what they believed in here and in here that they could do, and they acted from that. If we always act and believe from where our limitations are, we will always experience limitations in life. It's when we choose to act from in here and here from a place of service, a place of generally serving others, and making a difference in someone else's life, is we can blow through those limitations and create new perceptions for ourselves of what's possible for our life. Each and every one of you on here are such special and extraordinary people with so much to give. And if I could invite you to take one thing away from this little short video today, it's this. Don't walk away from this and say, wow, I feel a little better. That was nice. Jesse had a nice message today, whatever it is. Walk away from this video with a commitment to serve, a commitment of doing something kind for someone else, a commitment to making a difference in the life of someone else, the life of your community, whatever it is. Walk away with this with a specific action in mind that you're willing to take. And I encourage you to post it in the comments here so we can help hold you accountable, and then go do that and report back to us and let us know how it went. Service and the ability to serve others and make a difference in the lives of someone else is one of the greatest gifts you will ever be given in your lifetime. Do not leave that gift wrapped up and hiding under the Christmas tree. That gift is meant to be unwrapped, celebrated, and utilized often. Thank you so much, everyone, for being here today. I hope this message has been helpful. I hope it's resonated with you. Any questions, comments you have, feedback you have, be sure to put them below. Reminder, Sunrise Sunset Day is tomorrow. Post those photos on my Facebook page, which is Jesse Brisendine Coaching. There's links all over the place on the event page, everything else. Post them on there. The photos need to be photos taken of a sunrise or sunset tomorrow. It doesn't matter if it is overcast, rainy, cloudy, or anything. All of those are going to be part of the narrative. I have in Santa Barbara, the weather has been absolutely horrible in the morning. I'm fully expecting about this much visibility for the sunrise, meaning it's just going to be a bunch of dreary fog, which is totally fine. The point is that you're making the time to go out, take some time for yourself in honor of a loved one you lost, and share a moment with the rest of the world. And if you have a suggestion for the names of these, be sure to post them in here. We have to have something better than just another live Facebook lifetime. We got to come up with a name. All right, everyone, I got to hop up. I got a client here in a few minutes, so we will see you tomorrow. And I look forward to sharing sunrises and sunsets around the world with you. And be sure to post what your action you're going to take away from this. Be of service of others. It will transform your life. Send lots of love to you all. Bye-bye.